Hey everybody, it's Kelsey Detweiler. We're here in the Colt Club Sports headquarters for this month's episode of Suite 301. This is our monthly show we do. It's kind of a newsy show. We try and get you updated on all the happenings in the league. This is the third time we've done a solo show. I figured I'd try and follow up the efforts of Sandy Sanderson and Christian Smith with my own solo show. So here we go. If you have a question, comment, want to join us this show, we have two ways that you can get involved. You can call in directly to this phone. The number is 412-321-8440, extension 107. If we are on another call, sorry, I won't pick it up. But if you call in at a different time, we'll get right to you. You can also enter a comment in the chat box. I believe it's at the right-hand side of your screen. We have a couple of things that we'll be doing today that'll be different in the spirit of the World Series starting tonight, Kansas City Royals and the San Fran Giants. Everybody you see that'll be coming up as a part of the staff is wearing the color of the team that they're supporting in the World Series. Got my Royal on for Kansas City because who likes the Giants? We'll also be featuring lots of hashtag Hunter Pence signs for those of you baseball aficionados that know what that is. We'll have a couple of clever ones here. Everybody will be bringing some up. So let's get it started with Savannah Aarons. We're going to get her on the line. Talk about some NCSA stuff and spring training things.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Sav?
Good, how are you?
Good, we just started hashtag Hunter Pence signs.
All right.
I don't have yours up yet. I'm going to make them wait until we're done talking. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, so let's go. What's going on in the world of club softball? We have non-conference and a bunch of conference games underway. How are things going so far?
We're right in the heart of the fall season. We had, 30-plus games, 30-plus series going on last weekend and another 30-plus going on this coming weekend. So big, huge weekends for softball all over the country, basically. We've had a lot of interesting things happening as well. I know since you're the Great Lakes Regional Director, you can attest to how many games have actually been played out there, and there has been a lot going on. So that's been kind of a lot of area where the main focus has been, but then you've got areas like in the Mid-America where teams like Kansas and Mizzou and Iowa State, each of those teams have 2 losses already. So,
right.
That conference is going to be a toss-up for us to who actually ends up winning that. 1 loss and you're out. So
any big series to you so far, or upsets that you've seen, whether it's in my conference or anywhere?
I did see that Florida State lost 4 games to Florida Gulf Coast and UCF 2 apiece. Very interesting to that. Now, they will have a chance for redemption. They are playing Florida in non-conference this coming weekend. So
defending national champs.
Yep. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. That was definitely my big shakeup that I was interested to see, what happened and did they have a full roster, things like that. They don't start conference play until the spring. So definitely maybe just a warm-up for them.
Absolutely. And a big thing, too, I feel like we have to remind teams when they're getting into conference and non-conference games, they can count those statistics. Explain kind of, in layman's terms, that NCSA All-American honors we give out at the end of the season. How do girls get to be elected to that?
Great. And you're so right. Teams can count stats for both conference and non-conference games. We definitely want you uploading your stats to the website because that is how girls get elected to the All-American team. And it's only those girls who have stats posted on the NCSA website. And if teams have questions about how to get those up on the website, please email me, call me. Super easy to do. We have instructions just for doing that. So.
And those are national honors. I mean, that's the whole league.
Absolutely. Yep. So.
Pretty cool. You guys should upload your stats. October poll. Who moved up? Who dropped out? Anybody in particular that you noticed?
Well, like I was talking about Kansas earlier, they actually moved into the top 15, and I thought that was a pretty big step up for them. They missed the postseason last year very narrowly, and I know they're wanting a taste of that again. So I thought that was big, and East Carolina dropped out. They'll have a chance to redeem themselves later on as they get to play games later into the fall than some of the other teams do. So.
Absolutely. We're running out of time because I made you talk too long in the beginning. We'll switch over to spring training. We're just shy of a month from NCBA early registration where teams can get that discount. What should teams who are interested in coming down to the spring training showcase be doing right now?
They should be fundraising, getting their budget together. They should be figuring out how they're going to logistically make this happen. And they should be calling you or me or Eric so that we can help them with that. That's what we're here for, is to help them set up the budget, to get them down to Florida and get them to have an amazing time and an amazing spring break playing baseball. So.
And we know that college kids especially like to wait to those deadlines just because they like to make us sweat. But, I mean, You said you anticipated more than almost 80 teams trying to sign up this year, right?
Yeah, we're hoping so. With baseball and softball combined, it's definitely, it may be one of those things where we do run out of field space. So
right.
it may end up being a first-come, first-served thing. So definitely don't hesitate and get that paperwork in ASAP.
And how about on the softball side of things? Obviously, we're trying to boost up the NCSA tournament down in Florida this season. How many teams have you heard that have either verbally committed or at least shown interest?
Definitely at least 10 teams have shown interest and verbally committed. We've got a bunch of teams. We've got teams that are not even club softball teams. We've got NAIA and Division III schools that are interested in playing in the tournament just because they've heard about the competition level of our league. So that's exciting, and I know that they're going to bring some great competition to the tournament. So I'm excited about that.
Hopefully they'll play the free agent team then, too, see what the real competition is like. Host hotels and traveling and fundraising, which one do you think is the best hotel, or what's the hotel that teams should really be looking at for those host hotels?
I like them all. It totally depends on what your team is looking for. If you want to be walking distance to the field, then you go with the Best Western Plant City.
Right.
It's literally walking distance. If you want, that spring break party atmosphere, I would go to the Best Western Bay Harbor. It's got literally like a bar and volleyball courts right on the beach. So I don't really know how much more spring break you can get than that.
Yeah.
And then the other hotels are great options as far as affordability. If you're looking for something that has breakfast included, something like that, that's definitely some of the other options are great for that as well if you're budget conscious.
There's definitely an option for everyone. Real quick, I have 8 seconds. Free agent team, who should they contact if they want to be on a free agent team at spring training?
For softball, contact Kels, and for baseball, contact Eric.
Awesome. You just hit the buzzer. Okay, I have Joe from UW Whitewater, who's actually one of my guys, a club president, that's calling in right now. I'm going to be talking to him about spring training. Anything I should ask him?
Ask him what his favorite part of spring training was.
All right, perfect. Will do. Thank you, Sav.
No problem.
See ya. That was Savannah Aarons, everybody. A coworker of ours that we talk to every day but isn't in our office, does a great job with spring training, just like that. Clockwork. This is fun when it just comes right through. This is Suite 301. Who is this?
This is Joe Lautenschlager, UW Whitewater Club Baseball. How are you?
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Going well. It's a little bit chilly out here in Wisconsin, but we're doing okay.
Wisconsin. Can you say that again? Us Yinzers out here in Pittsburgh don't understand how to talk like that.
Wisconsin.
Joe, I've got 5 minutes with you here. I wanted to add you into the show because I know you're one of those guys that's, been around with the league for quite a while. Like he said, if you didn't hear him, UW Whitewater Club Baseball Team President. This is your second year as president?
Second year as president, that's correct.
Awesome. So you understand the ins and outs. And how many years have you been down to the spring training tournament?
I have been down there all 3 years. I've been eligible to go down there, and then we're planning on going this year as well.
So 3 years. So this will hopefully be your 4th year in a row. Talk to us about, well, first before we get into spring training, how's the season going? I know you guys had a conference series already this fall. How's the team looking this year?
The team's doing all right. 2 weeks ago, we were out in Eau Claire. We got a big sweep, 2 come-from-behind victories out there, and handled the game Sunday, game 3, pretty well. This past weekend, we hosted the UW. A bit of a test for us, tough squad. They finished 3rd in the nation last year, so definitely an uphill battle, but we held our own, and we played them tough. They ended up getting the sweep on us, but we tip our caps. That's a great program over there.
Yeah, and I mean, a team that made it to the World Series last year, that's, like you said, you hung with them, you scored runs. There's only so much you can do. We understand that it's tough to get out there in the fall, but we appreciate you doing that, and we know you have trouble with the snow in the spring. So the reason I brought you on here, especially, talk to me about spring training. You said this will be the 4th year you go down. Why does Whitewater go down every year? I mean, what's the draw for you guys outside of getting out of the snow in March?
Yeah, like you said, the weather, that's a huge thing for us. We're going from 20-something and snow on the ground to 70, 80 degrees and sunny. That's great for us. But another one of the main reasons for us is just to kind of really get to know your teammates. really good chance to team bond. It's a 24-hour drive, and that's a lot of time for us to really get to know each other, and it's just a great experience. You get that whole spring training down there for business. Playing different teams across the country, there's nothing like it.
Can you explain to me, I've heard it from so many teams and a couple of my coworkers too, what's so exciting about spending 16 plus hours in a van with like 18 other people?
You know what? I think honestly the big part of it is just being getting so anticipated to get down in that warm weather and just throw a baseball around outside. After being cooped up all winter in a field house, sitting in the batting cage, you just want to get out there and feel the dirt, smell the fresh cut grass again, and that's probably the best part. Driving down, making food stops, and just kind of horsing around and having a good time with your teammates and your buddies. There's nothing like it.
Geez, we should hire you to be on our marketing team for spring training. Give me some advice for new teams that have never been down there, tips or tricks, especially when it comes to fundraising and budgeting. What's the biggest expense that you guys budget for on your way down to spring training?
Probably the biggest thing is the hotel. You guys at the NCBA do a great job of getting us discount rates, and we appreciate that, believe me. But at the end of the day, it's still 5 nights in a hotel, so that's a big expense. Typically, we've covered gas on our own as participants of the club. But like I said, the hotel is usually the most expensive part. And this year, we've kind of done some experimenting with our fundraising, and what we actually did is we went to area businesses and asked, hey, can you help us out? We're a university organization. We don't get a whole lot of extra funding. And a lot of local businesses are more than willing to give you buy one, get one deals or 20% off your check or things like that. And that's proven to be very successful for our program.
Almost like team sponsors.
Correct. Yeah, we actually have never had sponsors, but that's definitely a great way to go as well.
Yeah, and it sounds like, and especially I feel like I've heard of teams, and I'm not sure what kind of businesses you go to, but you go to a local, sporting goods store especially, they're more than willing to help out, obviously, a sport, something that they're interested in.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a baseball academy down here in southern Wisconsin that it hooked us up with half-off batting cage time, like unlimited use. That's a great one to get to sell to other baseball players around the community. Bar and grills, fast food joints, you name it. It's been pretty successful for us.
Absolutely, you get creative. Hey, I have you for 20 more seconds here before the buzzer goes off. Tell me, Savannah Aarons, I just talked to her on the phone. She wants to know what's your favorite part of spring training overall.
Favorite part about the spring training is it's got to be the staff. You and Savannah do a hell of a job out there, and I can't thank you guys enough. You guys rock. Keep up the good work.
You're such a suck-up. Thank you so much for joining us, Joe. Joe from UW Whitewater, the club baseball president. He will be here all season long, but joined us today for a short 5 minutes. Hey, good luck, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.
All right, and in my rush to talk to Joe, I forgot to put up Savannah's Hunter Pence sign. Sorry, Savannah, if you're still watching, but here it is. Savannah says, Hunter Pence thinks the S on the weekly submission form stands for strikes. Haha. It actually, for those of you at home that didn't know, the S on the pitcher stat line stands for saves and not strikes. Good one, Savannah. We'll have a few more coming up. Next up on our itinerary is Mitch. He's coming in to talk about basketball. Come on down, NCBBA.
CBBA.
How's it going back there? Mitch is also our show producer today.
Don't tell anybody that in case I mess up.
He's doing great. Mitch, why are you wearing royal blue?
Well, not a huge Giants fan. They knocked out my Pirates. And I like the way the Royals play baseball, and I don't have any orange shirts. So I made that decision easy.
We will get Mitch's clever Hunter Pence sign or signs, maybe, when he's done speaking with us. But first, NCBBA talk. What's going on in the world of club basketball?
Well, we just got a new team added yesterday, which is very exciting. St. Bonaventure University.
Where are they?
They're in central New York.
Okay.
St. Bonaventure, New York. So that's pretty exciting. We're hoping to have the last paper we need from Iowa tomorrow to be able to announce them, so keep a lookout for that. They're 80% of the way there already. They just need to get the form faxed over. It'll be here this afternoon or tomorrow, so we're excited to see that. That's got us, right now we're up to 10 new teams this year.
Wow.
And with the teams that are on the docket to be added here before we start off, I'm real excited about the possibility to get that up to 15. This is new teams, keep in mind. And maybe we'll go even higher from there. We'll have to see. I know there's still an opportunity for teams to get involved, so we definitely want it to happen if at all possible.
So explain to me how you've been going about it. I know some of our other coworkers go, on a regional base, but because basketball is such a presence already, where have you been grabbing? I mean, Iowa, New York. How are you getting teams in certain places?
Well, I reach out all over the nation. I don't target a specific region per se, but I will work hard for a region if I get a couple leads from a team. What really happened this year is a couple really dedicated teams from last season gave me some of their contacts for teams that they had played in the past, teams that are more local to them. And we worked together to try to pull some of those teams in. So that is always helpful. So if you're in the league or looking to get into the league and you have some contacts for teams around you, pass them along, because it's a great opportunity for everybody. And once they get involved, that's just less travel for you guys, because they're going to be in your conference. And if you have to play an away series at them, it's just less of a trip you'll have to make. As this league develops, sometimes teams are making 4 or 5 hour trips to go play their opponent. But if we can get 4 teams within 2 hours of you, then that's great as far as budgeting for travel.
So you're adding more teams, and now you have an event, I believe, that you are hosting this fall, the West Virginia Warm-Up. Talk about where that is, when it is, and what the heck it is.
Sure. This is, I think, now 3 weeks away. It's getting pretty close here. It's the West Virginia Warm-Up. It's going to be in Morgantown, West Virginia. We're going to play on WVU's campus at their rec center. They've got 4 great courts all lined up, and we can put partitions between them to avoid basketballs traveling onto the other courts and interrupting the games. But November 15th and 16th, it's a Saturday and Sunday. That's when the event's going to take place. We're looking for 16 teams. We already have a bunch signed up, but I still think I have a few spots left. It's open to NCBBA members and non-members. Members get priority, but you got to let me know soon. It's going to be filled up by the end of the month, so if you're interested, get your paperwork in now or get in touch with me now so I can help you to get involved. 4 games guaranteed. We'll play 3 pool play games, and then we'll start into the elimination games. Everybody gets at least 1 elimination game, single elimination from there on until we have a champion, and they'll be taking home the trophy and all the accolades.
And Mitch is known for getting some of the best trophies in the office, so it'll probably be a sweet one.
I'm gonna try. We're gonna have a pretty good one set up. This is our first effort for a fall tournament. We put on a great national championship last April, so this fall tournament is going to be pretty exciting as well, and it's going to be a great opportunity for everybody that can make it.
Geez, you said April. It seems like that's right around the corner, even though it's like 6 months away. The basketball season, when does that get started? Conference play? When do our NCBBA teams get back into action?
Well, our teams are already starting to play. The regular season doesn't kick off until November 1st. So the games that are happening right now are just exhibition for them. They're just tune-ups. Teams are just playing because they love the game and can't get enough. Starting November 1st, we can put games on the website, and they can get credit for the games and their standings and their statistics on the website. So conference games they're going to get scheduled this week and next week, depending on how long it takes me and how long these next few teams that are jumping on how long it takes them to get their paperwork in. Can't wait forever for them before we have to schedule. We have to take care of the teams that are in the league already. But conference games will probably start after the West Virginia warm-up so that we can use that tournament to get everybody playing at their highest level.
Awesome.
So we're real excited. And then, the regular season will go through to March, and then the national championship there in early April.
Any big name teams coming down to West Virginia, like any that were at the championship, or?
Well, Virginia Tech, our national champions, are really upset that they can't make it right now, but I'm trying to see if I can't get the games they have scheduled moved already to get them there. We'll see if we can make it happen. 2 big names, obviously, West Virginia will be there, and Georgetown University. That's a premier basketball school.
And they're new to the league this year, correct?
Correct, yep.
Very nice.
A couple new teams are going to be down there, so
Awesome.
we'll get to have them showcase their talents for the league there.
Sounds like it'll be a fun time. Richardson reminder, NCBA spring teams. I know you wanted to talk about that real quick. What's the discount for NCBA teams?
That's all right. We'll let the horn finish. There we go. You always get an awesome discount for ordering your hats through the NCBA, but if you order before the end of November, you get an additional $1 off your already exceptional discount. We're talking discounts between 40 and 50% when it's all said and done. So If you're looking to order for the spring and you know how many players you're going to have, or if you can order a few extras, get your order in now and save yourself an extra $1 per hat.
$1 off every hat. That's like if you order 20 hats, you get $20 off.
That's exceptional math.
Holy.
That is exceptional.
I have a degree in journalism. That was a big deal. All right, before we send Mitch off, we are going to get his hashtag Hunter Penstein. Mitch, you can slide it right under here if you'd like to and go ahead and read it to everyone watching at home.
I got about 14 of them
Mitch
in mind.
has 300 Pensteins. Okay.
I'll give you my first one. Hunter
So-
Pence wants to have a courtesy runner after reaching base safely. Shout out for our Rawlings rep, Craig. He has one written here, but since he's not going to make it onto the show, he's manning the phones for us, so if you call in, you may be speaking to him.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, he's the man. Hunter Pence reads the terms and conditions word for word and doesn't order uniforms through Rawlings. I don't know why you would ever make that mistake, but imagine that coming from our Rawlings rep.
Hashtag Hunter Pence.
And for all of our NCBA athletes out there, Hunter Pence enters his full name into the nickname box during online player registration. Go on to any of our websites and you'll see that here and there all over the website.
Don't ever do it because your name will end up being Mitch Connor, Mitch Connor, Mitch Connor, or something like
Mitch
that.
Connor.
Thank you, Mitch, for your 100 Pensteins.
Thank you guys. Always a pleasure.
See ya.
Ciao.
All right, let me get these 100 Pensteins attached before we welcome Sandy to the show. Ooh, Sandy, what color
What's
are
up?
you wearing?
Salutations.
Salutations. Hello.
Hello. I've got two. Put 'em up.
What is this color you're wearing?
I'm wearing orange. You said, I feel short.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Much better. You said wear the color of the team
I
you're
did.
supporting.
I did.
So, and I did some heavy analysis last night, and I was like, all right, San Fran, Kansas City. Kansas City's got an unbelievable speed, great ground game. Both teams have great defense.
Yeah.
I love the long ball
Pitching.
threat of San Francisco. So, I mean, long ball, ground game. I think the 49ers are going to win 34 over the Chiefs, 14.
The 49ers. Yeah?
Over the Chiefs.
What are we talking about? It's football. What?
What? It's the World Series tonight.
Oh, yeah.
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 So,
The San Francisco Giants.
oh. Oh, I don't like the Giants. Never mind. All right, I'm a Royals fan. All right, now we're talking.
So far it's 3-0 Royals in the office right here. Sandy Sanderson.
Isn't it odd how I can
Never
just peel
a
off
dull
layers
moment.
of colors and they're all NCBA t-shirts?
The World Series, 2 of them right there. All right, we'll get talking with Sandy about the NCFA here. Games for me. You know more than anybody about what games are actually going on. What big games have happened these past couple weeks? Go.
Monumental weekend just happened. Big things this past weekend. Craziness. Coppin State, defending 2-time national champion, previously undefeated, lost the Delaware Gamecocks 32-30. Non-conference game,
Wow.
but it's a blemish on their record. It takes them out of the non-undefeated category. That might sway some voters. It's going to hurt them a little bit in the power rankings. Can't argue with that. Vermont 40 over Eastern 0. That was the North Atlantic Conference Championship game. Vermont stays undefeated. Big blowout style points there maybe with the voters there. With Coppin State dropping a game, that's going to affect a big swing in the power rankings. UMass over George Mason, conference game. Kind of a big
Wow,
upset there.
yeah.
UMass, still a young team in program age, but coming along, getting a big win there. Got an undefeated right now in conference. They control their own destiny. They got to go through Coppin State, but that was a big upset. Longwood 19, Radford 2 this weekend, conference game. Longwood's record increases to 2-1. First time in program history, Longwood's had 2 wins.
Really?
Boom.
Now those are conference wins or just wins?
Periods. They've never had 2 wins in the same season.
Wow.
Middle Georgia State 30, Columbus State 14. Significance of that, Middle Georgia State needs to win a lot of games to boost their status with the voters. Columbus State's having a real nice season, probably a monumental season for them in terms of quality. These 2 teams played earlier in the year. Middle Georgia State beat them 51-17 earlier. This time, much closer game, 30-14. Another huge game, Oakland 28, Miami of Ohio 12. Conference game, Great Lakes East. Miami was the favorite to win it, has won the East the last 4 years, was previously undefeated. Oakland upsets them at Miami. Oakland's now undefeated. Oakland's now in the driver's seat for the Great Lakes East, possibly getting to go play in the Great Lakes Championship game.
Holy NCFA.
Boom. And that was just last weekend. What else do you want to know?
All Updated polls and rankings I know came out
Polls
last
and
week,
rankings.
right?
And new power rankings come out tomorrow. So stay tuned. I think I'm excited. Like, I'm literally excited about tomorrow. I wish tomorrow was today.
So I guess talk about whichever, I don't even know
Well,
which one's
okay.
relevant,
All
last
right.
week's or tomorrow's.
Well, let me give you
Okay.
we'll go through the top 5. Robert Morris Peoria, undefeated, ranked number
one.
1 in the
Wow.
2 in the voters polls, 1 in the power rankings. Coppin State previously undefeated, 1 in the voters polls, 2 in the power rankings. Vermont 3-3, undefeated. Oakland was at the 4 spot. They were ranked 6th in the vote by the voters, 4th in the power rankings, and then Wright State was at 5th in both levels. Oakland, big win. Coppin State, a loss. Vermont, a big win. I think one of those teams might drop Coppin State. And, of course, we all know we're looking for 1 and 2. That's who gets to go to the national championship. So I'm real excited to see what's going to happen with this shakeout come tomorrow's polls.
So conference championship games then are the next big thing we're looking at, obviously, after
Right.
the conference games finish.
All except the North Atlantic Conference, which had their conference championship last weekend, this past weekend. That's the first time the North Atlantic's ever had a conference championship game. So that was a nice little step for us in the building of that conference.
Sure.
The rest of them are taking place the weekend of November 22nd.
Okay.
That's the South Atlantic, Mid-Atlantic, and Great Lakes Conference Championship games. The Great Lakes, the winners of the East plays the winners of the West. The game is being held at Wright State, no matter who is in it. The Mid-Atlantic and the South Atlantic, whoever finishes first in the conference will host the conference championship game with the number 2 team in the conference traveling to them.
Okay.
Columbus State down in the South Atlantic is sitting at 2-0 in conference. With a big game coming up against Kennesaw State in two weeks.
And how's Kennesaw doing so far?
Kennesaw State's doing all right. They're 1-0 in conference, 3-1 overall.
Interesting.
Columbus State wins that game. They clinch home field advantage for the conference championship game.
Wow.
They've never been in the conference championship game before, so that could be big for Columbus State.
Huh.
So
This
that's
is
exciting.
the year.
It's a year. It's anybody's ball game out there, folks. Another big game, Ohio State and Oakland next weekend, too. Oakland's obviously had an amazing season.
Yeah.
Ohio State, a quality opponent, could knock them off going into Oakland. See what happens. That's next weekend. Vermont, big game this coming weekend. Southwest Connecticut. It's a non-conference game. Vermont's got non-conference the rest of the way out.
Okay.
They're undefeated in conference. They got the conference title. That's done. What they need to do is keep winning ball games because that's going to influence voters
And the power
and
rankings.
in the power rankings.
Got it.
Southwest Connecticut shut them out 20-0 last year. Southwest Connecticut's no joke. Good program. But Vermont's got a good team this year. So we'll see what happens there.
You got more upcoming games. I almost want to cut you off right now, only because we have 40 seconds left and you got callers coming on. I mean, it's 4 weeks left till the end of the season, and I believe till conference championships. November 22nd is in a month, just about.
Holy cow.
Fun times. Who are you pulling for right now, or who do
I'm
you
not
think
pulling
is
for- I'm not
okay?
pulling
Not
for
pulling
anybody.
for, but who do you think's going to come out of this mess?
Robert Morris Peoria and Coppin State.
Wow.
I think Vermont's got 2 big opponents the next 2 weeks. I think they're going to drop one of them. It's going to hurt them too bad in the power rankings, I think. Robert Morris Peoria,
They want it.
they want it. I think they can get it.
All right, we have 2 NCFA callers
Oh, yeah.
coming in the next couple of minutes. We'll get to them when they get rung in here for you. I'm interested to see what happens. We'll do those afterwards. We'll wait till you're done calling. I'm interested to see what happens with these Coppin State games. Because if they drop one, I mean,
It's a non-conference game.
oh, they're non-conference. Okay.
It's a non-conference game, but Coppin State's got,
Okay.
They've
Work to do.
got work to do, and their record is blemished now a little bit.
Understood. All right, we have a caller coming in for Sandy. Go ahead and take this
All
call.
right. Is this Scott Hoffman?
Yes, it is. This is Sandy Sanderson.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Suite 301. Appreciate you calling in.
Oh, my pleasure. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. For those watching, we've got Scott Hoffman, Mid-Atlantic Conference Coordinator of the NCFA, taking some time out of his busy day to tune in with us. So, Scott, let's get right at it. How's the MAC looking this year for you?
It's looking pretty good right now. Obviously, Coppin State's doing real well. They suffered a tough loss this week, but they're still doing very well against club competition. I don't think they lost a game against NCFA teams, I want to say, since 2011. so they're doing real well. George Mason started off pretty well. They're doing a little shaky right now, but I'm sure they'll get back on track. Longwood won their first ever conference game this past weekend against Bradford. And Eastern Shore's looking pretty good. They scored a big win against George Mason last week.
So yeah, you talk about Longwood being on the rise in terms of having a better season than they've ever had before. UMass seems to be on the rise a little bit here. Who do you think's Coppin State's probably obviously your favorite to win the to at least finish first in the conference and host a conference championship game? Who do you think is going to be that second place team that's going to match up with them?
After this past weekend, right now, I'd probably have to put my money on Eastern Shore. But once again, pretty much everyone's still in play besides Radford right now. So Longwood still has a shot. Mason still has a shot. We just got to play to win.
Absolutely. That's why we play the ball games, right?
Precisely.
So talk to everybody at home about the MAC championship game, how it's held, the format. Take them through some of the dirty details on how that'll go down.
Okay, the Mid-Atlantic Championship game will be a 1 versus 2 game. The number 1 seed in the conference will host the game. Played once, it was the week immediately following the end of the regular season. And the past 3 champions, all 3 champions in 2011 was George Mason over VCU. In 2012, it was Coppin State over Radford, and last year in 2013, it was Coppin State over George Mason. I've had pleasure of personally playing in 2 of those games for George Mason.
Nice. So you got a conference championship under your belt.
Yes, I do. One of my favorite profile pictures on Facebook is of me holding that trophy.
Nice. Congratulations. Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So a lot of what's your big MAC game on the schedule here coming up this weekend?
I'm actually pretty excited. Longwood is hosting Coppin State this coming weekend, and it's, I believe, Longwood's last home game of the year. And I know they're getting pretty excited for that. Obviously they win. That makes a gigantic statement nationally and also in the conference race right now. They'll put Longwood in the first place and have Coppin on their heels, so it'll be pretty exciting to see what happens. I want to say next week Bradford and George Mason play, and that's a pretty heated and physical rivalry that I can personally attest to. So I'm excited for that. And at the end of the year, once again, we'll have George Mason versus Coppin, which is always a good game.
All right. Well, we're just about out of time, but we appreciate you calling in, Scott.
No, my pleasure. It's great talking with you guys.
All right.
Scott.
We'll have you back on again soon.
Bye.
I look forward to it. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Good old Scott Hoffman. Sounds like the MAC is exciting too.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's got 2 teams having career years. I mean, it's good stuff.
And the NCFA is just so
We-
popular. There's more callers.
And we like drama, so
Who could it be?
bring it on. Is this Jason Benoit?
It's JP and Jason, yep.
All right, JP and Jason. Am I pronouncing your last name right?
It's Benoit, but Benoit does sound better. I agree.
Well, it sounds French being up there in Vermont.
Absolutely. You guys do a lot.
All right. Well, appreciate you calling into the show. We've got the VP of Vermont Club Football on the line, calling in to talk a little bit about their conference championship this past weekend. They had a big win over ECSU this past weekend. 40-0 was the score. You'd played them in conference play, I think 2 or 3 weeks earlier. Who stood out this weekend for the Catamounts?
Just about everybody on the offense. We pretty much got all of our weapons involved. Our quarterbacks really stepped up, helped put us with adversity there. We lost our starter at the very beginning of the year, and our backup, actually, Jason, has stepped up huge. But we got 2 pretty good wide receivers, Pat Nee and Jake Bolecki. It's pretty hard to stop them on the outside.
All right. And your starter on opening day was Jack Leclerc, right?
Yep.
And he went down with an injury.
Yes, he did, unfortunately.
Out for the season or just short-term disability?
We believe it's out for the season.
That was a weird way for me to put that. We're surrounded by insurance people all day. That kind of vocabulary just runs off the tongue. All right. So one of the things that was significant about this weekend was the North Atlantic Conference has never had a North Atlantic Conference championship game at the end of the season. This was the first year we did it. Now, of course, there's only 2 teams in the North Atlantic, so we kind of knew who was going to be in it. The question was, where would it be played? But the goal was to get a trend started, because as we're looking to add 2, 3, or maybe even 4 new teams to the conference for next year, we want this conference championship game to become a repetitious annual event. How did it feel to be in a game that really, was for the trophy versus, just a regular conference game?
Definitely different with it being kind of like in the heart of our season, that's for sure. But it's always a great time that we can actually play something, play for a little bit of hardware anytime.
And while I talk about this being the first ever North Atlantic Conference championship game, this is Vermont's 5th North Atlantic Conference title. They've won 4 previously, just without a conference championship game. In the previous years, it had been, whoever won the regular season just claimed the title. So that was the big difference there. Now, as we move on, you've got the conference title on your belt. There's a goal off the checkbox, checkbox next to that goal. On to the next thing. You've got a real shot here at getting to the national championship game of the NCFA. What are your team's biggest strengths this year, and what has improved since last season?
I'll actually take this one. I believe our biggest strength this year is our defense. We've only given up 14 points, I believe, in 5 games we've played, which is really impressive. We actually haven't scored a defensive touchdown until last week, so that was one of our biggest goals on the defense. Now that they got that, they're pretty happy and playing good right now. This week's going to be a tough challenge, but I think our defense can step up and make big plays.
Yes, Southwest Connecticut last year shut you guys out 20-0. But obviously, last year was last year. This is this year. You got looks to be on paper. You got a much better team this year. What is going to be your game plan going out there and trying to keep your record unblemished this weekend?
Well, we're going out this year with a little bit of a different game plan. Last year, we didn't have as much information on them, but this year we kind of got a good feel of what they're going to do. They have pretty fast receivers. They have a big line. So we're going to try to. I'm not going to give away all of our secrets, but we're going to work to our advantages.
There you go. You're gonna game plan and study harder.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah, we don't want to tip your hand there. All right. So last thing, one of the parts that's part of the equation in the power rankings is the voters poll, and right now those voters have you at number 3. That now the top 2 teams are the ones that get to play in the national championship bowl game. What do you have to say to those voters that are listening as to why Vermont should be in the top 2?
Well, I think that as we play the rest of our season, playing teams with a little bit better record, on paper a little bit better, and we keep playing how we're playing, winning games, I think the voting is going to take care of itself.
I tend to agree. You win, you take care of your own business, and the rankings will take care of you.
I like that. That's a good answer.
So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate you calling in. We are out of time over here, but good luck this weekend against Southwest Connecticut, and hope to keep that Catamount train rolling along the tracks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
There any more-
NCFA.
any-
Holy.
Any more analogies I can spit out?
No, and is repetitious? Is that a word?
Did I say that?
You said repetitious. Isn't it repetitive? It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Okay, we have Hunter Pensteins from Sandy.
Yeah, my handwriting's not
Before
very good.
today, Sandy didn't know what Hunter Pensteins were. He actually said, "What is pound Hunter Pensteins?" for all you at home. So here's his hashtag Hunter Pensteins.
Okay. Well, my first one
Fine.
is,
It's okay.
I didn't know we were doing a theme for the league, so I just went with my gut, and I went with Hunter Pence goes fishing for bluegill.
As opposed to,
Like nobody goes bluegill fishing.
okay.
And then, of course, this is like from my own, like, Hunter Pence has his dogs and cats spayed and neutered. So, there we go. Good night and good luck.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
All right, am I out?
You're out.
Am I dismissed?
You're dismissed. Always a pleasure. Sandy Sanderson and his Hunter Pence sign. Sandy Sanderson, by the way, created all of these things that are happening right now, so thank you to him. He's our boss. Now we have two people coming on right here, Christian and Eric. They'll be talking about baseball. I don't know why everyone's laughing at me, but here they come anyway. NCBA D1 and D2. Hey guys, what's so funny?
What did he bring in?
Go Sports.
Oh, okay.
Got the gigs.
What we're doing.
What we're doing.
See, I'm the only one that's gigged up around here.
It's getting here.
What's going on? First of all, your shirts are both. Well, yours is
Blue.
definitely.
I didn't
Royal.
have an orange shirt.
Would you have rooted for the Giants?
You got an
Probably
orange
not.
helmet right there if you want
No?
to put it on.
No, I would probably still go with the.
Why are you
Royals.
favor?
I actually forgot they were in the league for a long time.
The Royals.
There's one of those teams you never
Yeah.
hear anything about
Yeah.
here in Pittsburgh.
The Cinderella story. or
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
happy for
That's
him.
true. And you are
I'm just an AL guy.
Baby
I
blue.
got my Royals baby blue on.
okay.
And red.
They
And
can't
why?
see
Why
that.
are you? Oh, you're an AL guy.
I'm
you
an
said.
AL guy.
You are
I like the
usually
story
a-
of the Royals, so
That's right. Eric's usually a Yankee fan.
I'm always a Yankee fan.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
usually a Yankee fan.
Right. All right, we'll keep it in the baseball family, D1 and D2. What's going on in the world of baseball? Equipment forms.
I'll let Eric. He's more in touch with the equipment order
Sure.
forms.
If teams haven't gotten their bats and balls, what should they do?
Contact me or Craig Budzik. We can get you tracking info. We can get you updates on where your orders are at. Hopefully you've turned in your form. If you haven't, you've probably heard from one of us. And if you haven't heard from us, you haven't got a form, hit us up, obviously. You need to get that. It's for complimentary stuff. It's free.
Right.
You get your baseballs. You need them for your league games. You get your bats. D1 teams, get your helmets, catcher's gear.
And we can get that stuff out as soon as we get the forms, correct?
Yeah, the hard
I mean-
part's just getting it from you. I know
Right.
it sounds very easy, but there's still a decent amount of teams who haven't got them in.
Okay.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And again, this is housekeeping, but rosters and eligibility, teams will be starting or have started or want to play non-conference games. They have to have.
Yes, if you're playing, it doesn't matter if you're playing conference or non-conference. You have to have your roster up, or you're going to forfeit any wins that you achieve.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're playing a team in your conference or out of conference. You have to get that paperwork in, and that's your academic letter, and you have to get your players registered online. If you're playing a team, we basically need to know your non-conference schedule. If you want credit for that game, we need to know your non-conference schedule. So that's another thing you want to get in touch with your regional directors about or district coordinators about to let us know, so that if you don't have your roster in, we can bug you and make sure that you get it in. So it's very important.
And once a regional director puts a non-conference game on the website, I mean, what validity does that hold? I guess just kind of warn teams about it, because we can't technically just take
Yeah.
a game down if
Yeah,
you don't have
it's
a roster
official.
in. That's a forfeit.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have a roster in and you win a game, it's automatic forfeit. I mean, that's right in the rule book.
Yeah,
So
you gotta have at least 9.
you have to
guys
have
on
at
the
least
roster.
9 guys on your roster. So
Now, Eric, I know dealing with D2, you have a ton of teams playing conference series, non-conference series,
Yeah.
and there's been a couple here and there in the North Atlantic and the Great Lakes. Either of you seen any big series so far? in the last
I have a couple
weeks?
notes, not on specific series, but 4 teams that kind of stood out for me. Penn State, they already played 8 conference games.
And this is
They're-
D2.
Yeah, and they're 8-0.
Oh, wow.
That's a big deal in the fall already. Kent State, which we'll talk about later, won your tournament. They also had some close games with Ohio State, D2, and Akron, who are both really good teams. Good for them. Minnesota State Moorhead is 8-0 and 6-0 in their conference.
Wow.
And then SUNY Brockport is 8-1 and then 8-1 in their
Jeez.
And all
conference
three of
too.
those.
what are they going to
Akron-
be doing in the spring?
Hopefully playing a lot of non-conference games.
Okay.
And hopefully coming to spring training.
And that's-
There you
Akron,
go.
Rockport, and you said Moorhead.
Yeah,
All
Penn
three
State,
of those
Kent
were
State, Moorhead,
at the World
Brockport.
Series last year,
Yep.
weren't
And
they?
Penn State, yeah.
And
All good
Penn State.
teams.
Wow.
Very
Coming
good
back
teams.
strong.
Yeah, so it's been a fun fall.
Crazy.
It's been
Any
busy.
big D1 series or not so much yet?
I mean, there hasn't been as many as the
Yeah.
D2, but North Atlantic, Mitch's region, you got, and I don't know. This is my first year running D1 and kind of
You're
out
doing
of
a great
touch.
job.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
But Albany, they're 5-1. They swept UMass this past weekend.
Wow.
Is Albany normally a middle of the pack team? So I mean, 5-1. So that's a big thing, and I don't obviously is not, like we said, not as many non-conference games as D2, so it's
Sure.
kind of hard to
D2
judge,
has more
but-
districts that play football. So.
Exactly. So
Okay, we only have 2 minutes left, so I'll ramble and recap these first two quick.
Okay,
But fall
sure.
tournaments, we have. I had the number and I forgot it. It was. I was going to tell you how many teams we had competing in fall tournaments, but I didn't count
Do
them.
some
I'm sure we
quick
can do it
math.
real quick.
It was around. It's 16 plus 16 plus 12
30.
plus 8. 16 and 16 plus
32.
20. 32. We have
52 plus 8,
52?
60.
We have around 60 teams competing in fall tournaments,
That's
which
good.
is awesome. Battle Creek Blast. I ran that one out in Battle Creek, as is the name. It was a fun time. It was like 82 degrees in Michigan for the entire weekend, which
Wow.
all of the field people told me never happened. But I had 8 teams out there. This is the first time we ran a Great Lakes fall tournament. And Kent State, D2 team, like you said, ended up coming up big and beating Central Michigan by
impressive.
a run in extra innings to win the championship. It was one of those,
Yeah.
you want to stick around good baseball
Exactly.
games. So we had a good time, and Mitch is behind the camera. I should have wrote to bring him up here and explain it. But State College Classic was 3 weeks ago now, I think already, maybe 2. That was out in State College. He had 12 teams out there this year. I think he only had 10, maybe 8 last year. 8 last year. He's given me 2 4s, which means 8. Who won that one? State
don't-
College Classic.
I
Oh,
don't
Pitt.
even know.
Pitt, for the first time,
Beat
apparently.
St. Joe's.
And apparently they have been in a ton of our tournaments. Like, they always come to NCBA events, and they've never won
Really?
a tournament.
They're always a good team.
Like, they're
that's
always
crazy.
decent, but they haven't actually won. So congratulations to Pitt.
PITT.
They beat St. Joe's, who was undefeated before
Yeah,
the championship
good
game.
D2
So
team.
a really good weekend of ball. So now
Sounds like
I'll
a
let-
future D1 team.
Maybe. They
Hopefully.
did have a really big roster and really nice
They're-
uniforms.
Yeah.
Shout out to St. Joe's for the unis.
They're a good baseball team.
Who knows more about Wood Wars? I'll let.
We could both chime in, I
Somebody
guess.
talk
He's
about
giving a speech at it.
Well, apparently I'm throwing
He's-
out the first pitch,
yeah.
so
Okay.
if you're going there, look for me. You can get my autograph.
So what's happening? What's Wood Wars?
Ryan Norris, been around the NCBA forever. He's running a big 16-team tournament down in McKinney, Texas. Wood Bat, obviously, for Wood
Right.
Wars. He's doing a big military appreciation day. He just goes, balls to the wall. He does everything for his tournament, and it's going to be a good time. So looking forward to it.
And that's the, I believe, October.
Halloween weekend.
Yeah,
I believe,
31st,
whatever that may
1st,
be.
and 2nd.
And we have to give Norris a shout out too. I know we're running the show on time, but he's doing a great thing. He's partnering with the Dallas USO, which is the United Services Organization, and they give back directly to the military. He has a military appreciation day,
Yep.
like you said, Saturday night. But a ton of the proceeds from his tournament are going straight there.
Yeah,
So
I think he's
hats
got a
off.
buck for every souvenir
Yeah,
merchandise.
and I think for every admission too.
Yeah,
But
so-
real quick, you two can go back and forth. Greenville, go ahead, Smid. That's
Yeah,
your
Greenville Fall Invitational. It's our 3rd annual. We have 3 new teams coming this year. The rest are existing Ohio State Division II teams coming down. Radford and then NC State, who I'm excited is coming down. That is the 7th through the 9th of November. 12 teams. ECU's won it
the last two.
the last 2 years, so they're obviously the team to beat with the target on their back. But we're really, really excited. We love Greenville. We have a blast down
And that's
there.
Greenville,
South Carolina.
South
not North
Carolina.
Carolina.
They love
South.
when we tell them that it's South Carolina. Apparently, there's like a rivalry. If there's a team that's going to beat ECU, who's it going to be?
Ooh, let me look at that
I
team
don't
list
know.
one more time.
NC State.
I was just going to say NC State, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the fall. You never
Yeah,
know.
you know.
You never know who, it could be.
Yeah, I
Could
don't know
be
who they're
anybody.
bringing, whatever.
So,
ECU always goes 100%.
all the time.
All the time.
Hundo.
Hundo. All right, before we get them off the air and I sign off, we're going to do your 100 pence signs.
And I'm going to talk about the new teams we signed from
No, we're
last
not,
year.
'cause we don't have any time left.
Western Carolina, University of Tennessee Chattanooga, Utah Valley University, Northwest Missouri State, and Colorado Mesa. They had a successful first-year team. They're bringing in a second program to the league.
That's 5 new teams since the last time Smids
Word.
was on the show, because that's what he does. All right,
Okay,
100
Eric.
pen signs. Let's see. They have a couple here. So we're going to go Eric first. Let's
All
do
right.
both of yours.
100 pence goes to www.clubbaseball.com. And if you don't know what that means, you're probably the problem because we get that question all the time. I'm trying to register on www.clubbaseball.com. That's not the website. You got to put a .org on the end of that. So
Hashtag 100 pence. All
.org, excuse me. Delete that .com part.
right. What do we got from Smids?
Hunter Pence only lists first names on the lineup cards. Go ahead, Eric.
100 pence voted for Chad Lowe for NCBA D2 rules.
Voting's still open. Voting's still open.
Is this your last one? You got
No,
one
I got
more?
like
All
6
right,
more.
2 more from Smids.
Hunter Pence updates only his stats online. And
Who
then
out there does that?
I've seen it before.
Ooh. All right, last one.
Hunter Pence opts out of the host hotel at spring training. That one's for Sav.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Pay some
don't do
extra
that.
money.
Don't do that.
Why
Our
would you
hotels
do
are
that?
better.
Don't do
Hunter
that.
Pence would do that.
And those are the Hunter Pence signs. You can go on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere on any of our sites if you really like.
We
Email
are-
us if you want, and
I'm
let
just
us know
interrupting.
which hashtag Hunter Pence sign you like the most.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that too. I did a little
Yeah.
hashtag in-office rivalry on a tweet earlier
Wow.
because I think mine's gonna win, which I haven't even shown yet. So
Chad Lowe, you got a campaign for
And Eric Hurd was in like a chat with some other people, and he heard some pretty good ones already too.
Oh, really?
I think one of them was Eric Unoriginal took one of them.
Joe
So-
Crotch and Ryan Norris, you gotta hit us up. Yeah, some good ones.
well, thank you very much, guys, for joining
All right.
me.
Thanks. We'll see you next month.
Appreciate it. Always a great time.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Goodbye.
You see what I have to deal with? This is my life every day. These guys just laughing at me. So thanks for tuning in. We're all done. That's the last that I have for the show. You saw everybody in here was wearing blue except for Sandy, who then changed to blue anyway. But it looks like we are a Kansas City Royals family of fans here at Cold Club Sports. Make sure you're watching the World Series this week. Always a good time. Next episode is November 18th, 2014 at 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find a recording of today's show online at www.ustream.tv/channel/Suite301. And make sure you go online and vote on Twitter or on Facebook for whose Hunter Pence sign is the best. Oh, I have to show mine because I was singing it this morning. Hunter Pence will never be royal in the words of Lord. I just really like that song. That's my Hunter Pence sign. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. See you next time.
That's